All right, let's dive in. Today we're heading to Doha, Qatar, a city that's, well, it's kind of exploding onto the culinary scene right now.
It is, yeah.
So we're going to break down what it really takes to open a restaurant there.
Sounds delicious.
Right. We're using this in-depth article from the Restaurant Success blog. It is packed with info, so...
Yeah, they really went deep on this one.
They did, so we're pulling out the absolute essentials.
The need-to-knows for our listeners.
Exactly. And honestly, I found some stuff that blew my mind while prepping.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, for one, did you know that rent should ideally be only 10 to 15% of your revenue?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a tight margin, especially in a market like Doha.
Right. Intensely competitive.
Yeah, if that rent's too high, it can just gobble up your profit before you even get going, especially in those first few months when you're building that customer base.
Yeah, you put your heart into the concept, the food's amazing, but you're barely making ends meet because of the rent.
Heartbreaking.
Totally.
Yeah.
So location, location, location. It's the mantra for a reason.
Couldn't agree more. And this article doesn't just say it, it breaks down WHY.
It does. So accessibility is their first big point. Makes sense, right?
Totally. Put yourself in the customer's shoes. How easy is it to actually get to your restaurant?
Parking.
Especially in Doha, yeah. Very car-centric city, but traffic can be brutal.
Ugh, yeah. I'd totally pick a place that's easier to reach, even if the food's a tad less amazing, you know?
Convenience is king, especially when you're hungry.
Yeah.
But it goes beyond just driving. Is the place visible from the street? Easy to spot. You got to make sure people can find you.
Yeah, like what's the point of a beautiful storefront if it's hidden down an alley?
Exactly.
Okay, so let's say we've got that amazing, easy-to-find spot, maybe even some outdoor seating for those Doha evenings.
Love that.
What's next?
Demographics. This is where it's interesting. You wouldn't put, say, a super fancy restaurant in a budget-conscious area.
Right, aligning your concept with the people who are actually going to be around.
Exactly. But Doha adds another layer of complexity.
Yeah.
Right? Such a diverse population.
Yeah, it is. So how do you even start to figure out those demographics?
This is where you got to roll up your sleeves and do some serious market research.
Yeah.
It's not just about income levels either.
It's not.
Nope. It's cultural nuances, dietary needs, lifestyles. What are people in that specific area actually looking for?
So, like, just because a neighborhood has a lot of expats...
Doesn't mean they all want the same thing.
Exactly.
You might have a big Indian population, but within that, there's so much variety. Some want traditional South Indian, others might be into modern fusion. You got to drill down.
Fascinating. Spotting those subtle differences, finding the gaps.
And that's where the opportunity lies. If you can satisfy a specific craving that no one else is meeting.
You've got them hooked.
Yep.
All right, so perfect location, research done, target audience in sight, feeling good, but permits. The dreaded paperwork.
Ah, yes, the paperwork. It's a reality everywhere, but Doha, oh boy, they do things their own way.
They do, and the article lays it all out. A
Yeah.
whole list of licenses and permits you need just to open the doors.
And it's not just getting them, it's understanding the whole process, the timelines, the potential traps. You don't want to be held up because you missed a deadline.
Months of planning down the drain. What's their advice for navigating this permit maze?
Organization is key. Double check everything, make copies, stay on top of deadlines.
Little things, big impact.
Right. And honestly, they suggest maybe even getting a local consultant who specializes in this stuff.
Someone who speaks the language, knows the shortcuts. Makes sense.
Like having a guide in a foreign country, which, in a way, you are.
Yeah, I can see the value in that. All right, so location's golden, permits sorted. Feeling confident now, but this article doesn't sugarcoat it.
It doesn't. Opening a restaurant is risky anywhere, but Doha is no joke.
So financially, what are the big pitfalls to watch out for?
Underestimating startup costs is a classic. Everyone focuses on the big stuff, equipment, furniture, all that.
The obvious stuff.
Right, but it's like an iceberg. There's always more lurking below.
Hidden costs.
Exactly. Licensing fees. We already talked about those in Doha. Marketing to get the word out. Professional fees, lawyers, accountants.
It adds up fast.
Oh, it does. But let's say you've budgeted for all that meticulously. You're a budgeting superstar.
Go me.
The next hurdle is working capital. This trips up so many first-timers.
Working capital. Okay, explain it to me like I'm 5.
Imagine opening day. Right. You've got a few customers, but you're not packed every night. Rent, staff, suppliers. Those bills keep coming, whether you're busy or not.
Makes sense.
Working capital is that financial cushion to keep you afloat until the revenue catches up.
Like a safety net for your business.
Exactly. And they recommend having enough to cover 6 to 12 months of expenses.
Whoa, That's a chunk of change.
It is. And in Doha, it's important to consider the seasonality too. The tourist season, Ramadan. Your income won't be steady year-round.
So even more reason to plan for those ups and downs.
Precisely. And that's where cash flow projections come in.
Ugh, spreadsheets. My eyes are already glazing over.
I get it. But trust me, they're your roadmap. They help you anticipate income A&D expenses so you can make smart decisions about pricing, staffing, the whole shebang.
So I can avoid running out of fuel before I reach the destination, so to speak.
Exactly. Without a good cash flow projection, it's like running a marathon blindfolded. Especially in Doha, where you've got those seasonal shifts.
Yeah, point taken. All right, we've tackled location, permits, and the scary world of restaurant finances. Feeling cautiously optimistic.
I like it. But here's the reality check. Doha has amazing food. Just being another restaurant won't cut it.
You gotta stand out.
Big time. This article hammers this point home. You need a unique concept, something that grabs attention and keeps people coming back for more.
Okay, give me examples. What does a unique concept actually look like?
Imagine, like, traditional Qatari cuisine, but with a modern molecular gastronomy twist. Or a place that specializes in vegan versions of Middle Eastern classics.
Oh, I try that.
Right. It's finding a niche, an angle that no one else is doing.
Yeah.
The article warns against just copying what's already popular.
Like opening another burger joint when there are already a million awesome ones.
Yep. People get tired of the same old, especially in a dynamic city like Doha. They want novelty. They want to be surprised.
Okay, so know your market, find that unmet need, and then
build your brand identity around it. This is more than just a logo.
it's a whole vibe, right?
Exactly. It's the feeling, the story you're telling. And it's got to be consistent from the menu design to how your staff interacts with customers. Everything should feel cohesive.
It all comes together to create that brand experience.
Exactly.
All right, location, permits, money, concept, brand. Are we missing anything? Oh, right. The internet. Can't forget that.
And you'd be surprised how many restaurant owners do, even in a tech-forward place like Doha. This is a big point the article makes.
You can have the best food in the world, but if no one can find you online...
You're sunk. Your online presence is your storefront these days. It's the first impression.
First impressions matter.
They do. So they break it down into 3 areas: your website, social media, and Google My Business.
Website first. It seems like a no-brainer, but the article says a lot of restaurants still mess this up, especially when it comes to mobile.
Oh, it's shocking. You try to browse on your phone, and it's a zoomed-out mess. Instantly frustrating.
Yeah, I'd probably just give up and find another place.
Exactly. So mobile-friendly is non-negotiable. But then it's got to be easy to navigate, visually appealing. Think what you would want to see.
The menu, easy to find.
High-quality photos of the food, the space, all the essential info, maybe even an online reservation system.
Booking made easy.
Yep. Okay, so website sorted, now on to social media, everyone's on it, but how do you actually use it effectively?
Yeah, it's not just posting pretty food pics, is it?
The article warns against that, actually. It's not enough. It's got to be about storytelling.
Ooh, tell me more.
It's sharing the story of your restaurant, your team, the passion behind it all. Don't just show a plate of food. Show the chef making it, talking about the ingredients.
Bringing people behind the scenes.
Exactly. Give them a glimpse into your world. Make them feel like they're part of something special.
Makes sense, especially in Doha, where everyone's so visually oriented and loves sharing their experiences online.
Totally. Doha is all about style and sophistication, so your online presence has to reflect that.
Got it. High-quality visuals, engaging stories. What about Google My Business? They mentioned that too, right?
They did, and it's often overlooked, which is a shame because it's so powerful.
Remind me what it is again.
Think about when you're looking for a restaurant. You're on your phone, you search restaurants near me. What pops up?
Those little map listings with the photos and reviews.
Like Google My Business. That's how most people find places these days.
So if I don't have a profile...
You're invisible. And even if you do have one, it needs to be claimed, updated, accurate. It's your online storefront.
Address, hours, photos, the works.
Yep. And encourage those reviews. Positive reviews are like gold on Google.
It's like digital word of mouth, right?
Exactly. Don't underestimate it. It might not be flashy, but it's crucial.
All right. Location, permits, finances, concept, brand, now online presence. We're really building this restaurant piece by piece.
We are. And it's exciting, isn't it? All this planning, the creativity, the strategy.
It is, but we're not done yet. In the next part, we're going to dive into the human side of things. The team, the staff, the people who make it all happen.
The heart of the restaurant.
Exactly. Can't wait to get into that.
Back again, diving deeper into the world of Doha restaurants.
Going through all that in the last part, location, marketing, the money side, it's easy to get lost in the nuts and bolts.
It is all those moving parts.
But this article really highlighted something that's, well, easy to overlook.
What's that?
The people, the actual humans who make this whole thing work.
The heart of it all, yeah.
Right. Your team, your staff, they're the ones bringing your vision to life day after day.
This article calls it a two-pronged approach, actually. Hiring the right people. A&D creating an environment where they can thrive.
Okay, let's start with hiring. Picture this. Opening day, you're excited, maybe a little frantic, you need staff, like yesterday.
It's tempting to just hire anyone who walks in the door. I get it.
Right. But the article says rushing that process is a huge GE mistake.
Huge. You got to be selective, find people who not only have the skills, but also fit the culture you're building.
So more than just ticking boxes on a resume.
Way more. It's passion for food, excitement about your concept, that genuine want to be part of the team.
Maybe even go beyond the usual interview, right?
Absolutely. Trial shifts, cooking demos, see their skills in action, get a feel for their personality.
Love that. Okay, so you've assembled your dream team. Now you got to keep them happy.
Happy staff, happy customers. It's a universal truth.
And it's more than just a good salary, right?
This article is big on that. It's about culture, respect, teamwork, open communication, making people feel valued.
Like they're part of something special.
Exactly. Giving them ownership, opportunities to grow. That's how you build a team that sticks around.
All right, hiring done, happy team in place. Next up, training. Essential in any industry, but especially in the fast-paced restaurant world.
Couldn't agree more. And they're very specific here, especially for Doha. Food safety and hygiene training are non-negotiable.
Right, Doha has super high standards, and rightfully so.
It's about protecting customers and your reputation. But training goes beyond just the basics.
It's about empowering your staff, right, so they can provide that top-notch service.
Exactly. Think about it. A customer asks about a dish. A well-trained server can tell them everything. The ingredients, the preparation, the inspiration. They can elevate that whole dining experience.
From just a meal to a story.
Right. And that comes from training. You're investing in your people, giving them the tools to succeed.
Which ultimately leads to happier customers and happier staff who stick around.
It all comes full circle. Now, managing staff effectively, that's another challenge.
Oh yeah, restaurants are high-pressure environments. Things can get heated.
It's true. But the article argues that clear communication is key. Set those expectations, be fair, be consistent.
Clear boundaries, constructive feedback, holding people accountable.
Exactly. It's not about being a tyrant. It's about structure. Everyone knows their role, what's expected of them.
And the consequences if things go wrong.
Right. But also the rewards when they go right. It's about fostering that sense of teamwork, everyone working towards a common goal.
Okay, from behind the scenes, let's get to the good stuff. The food D. We talked about having a unique concept, but how do you translate that into a menu that's both delicious and profitable?
Balance is key. That's what the article stresses. It's not just throwing dishes together. It's about aligning your menu with your concept, your market, and your budget.
So many factors to juggle. What are the big ones to consider when you're, actually planning the menu for a Doha restaurant?
Well, knowing your audience is crucial. What are their tastes, their dietary needs? What kind of experience are they looking for?
Right, because Doha's so diverse. You can't just assume everyone wants the same thing.
Exactly. You've got locals, expats, tourists, all with different palates. And halal options are a must in Doha, no question.
Makes sense.
But it's about finding that balance, offering variety without overwhelming your kitchen or your customers.
So smaller menu, more focus.
Exactly. You can focus on quality, on sourcing the best ingredients, perfecting each dish. It's less about quantity, more about creating a truly memorable experience.
Makes sense. Easier to manage too, I imagine.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Less waste, simpler inventory. Okay, so you've got your menu, you know your audience, you've factored in those dietary needs. Now comes the nail biter, pricing.
Oh yeah, that's the scary part. How do you make sure you're charging enough to, actually make a profit but not scare people away?
This is where understanding your food costs is crucial. The article really breaks this down.
Okay, back to numbers. Food costs. Remind me what that means again.
It's the percentage of your revenue that goes towards the actual ingredients in your dishes.
Okay.
So let's say your ingredients for a burger cost $5 and you sell it for $15. Your food cost is about 33%.
Got it. And what's a good target to aim for?
They recommend between 25% and 35%. That gives you a decent profit margin without overpricing yourself.
But food costs can fluctuate, right? Depending on the ingredients, the season.
Absolutely. That's why you got to track them constantly. Don't get caught out by a sudden price hike.
Makes sense. Stay flexible, stay informed.
Right, and don't forget about perceived value. This is a big one.
Perceived value. Lay it on me.
It's about how much customers think a dish is worth. High-quality ingredients, beautiful presentation, generous portions, all those things contribute to perceived value.
So it's not just the cost of the food, it's the whole experience.
Exactly. The ambiance, the service, the story. If you're offering something truly unique, people are willing to pay more.
All right, location permits, money, concept, brand, online presence, staff, training, menu. Are we missing anything? Oh, right, the not-so-glamorous part. Inventory management.
Inventory.
Yeah.
The unsung hero of a successful restaurant.
I have a feeling this is where things can go very wrong very quickly.
Oh, yeah. It's like that fridge in your kitchen, but
Yeah.
amplified by a thousand.
No one wants to find a science experiment growing in their walk-in.
And this article stresses that good inventory management isn't just about avoiding waste. It's about maximizing profits and ensuring consistency.
Makes sense. Okay, so how do we do it? Where do we even start with inventory?
First, you need a solid tracking system. Know what you have, what you need, and when you need it.
No last-minute panics because you're out of a key ingredient.
Exactly. That can lead to inconsistencies in your dishes, which customers will notice. A good system helps you stay organized and keeps those dishes tasting the same every time.
Okay, tracking is key. What else?
Forecasting is huge EE. Use historical data, seasonality, upcoming events. Predict what you'll need so you're stocked up without over-ordering.
So you don't end up with a mountain of wilting lettuce.
Precisely. And in Doha, with all the events and festivals, forecasting is even more important. Then there's the suppliers.
Oh yeah, finding the right people to work with.
They emphasize building strong relationships with suppliers. It's not just about price.
It's about reliability, consistent quality.
Exactly. Find suppliers you can trust, who share your commitment to excellence. It might cost a bit more upfront, but it's worth it.
A long-term investment in your restaurant.
Exactly. Okay, we've tackled so much. Location, permits, the money side, staffing, menu, inventory. But there's a whole other layer to this.
What's that?
The customer experience. This is where all those pieces come together.
It all culminates in that moment when a customer walks through the door.
This article really drives home the point that it's not just about the food, it's about the whole experience.
The ambiance, the service, the feeling they walk away with.
Exactly. Creating something enjoyable, memorable, something they'll tell their friends about. It's about genuine hospitality.
More than just being polite, right? It's about going above and beyond.
Think about it from the moment they arrive. The host's greeting, the atmosphere, how knowledgeable the servers are, it all contributes to that feeling.
And it's not just the front of house staff, right?
Everyone plays a part. The kitchen, the bussers, it's about teamwork, making sure every guest feels welcomed and cared for.
And don't forget about feedback, both the good and the bad.
They make a great point about that. Taking feedback seriously shows your customers you care. Use it to improve, to show you're listening.
It's a dialogue, not a one-way street.
Exactly. Okay, we've covered so much ground, but there's one final piece to this puzzle.
What's that?
The long game. Thinking beyond opening night. Building a business that lasts.
Thriving, not just surviving.
Exactly. And the article has some solid advice for building that long-term success.
Right, I'm all ears.
They talk about having a growth mindset. Always looking for ways to improve, to innovate, to expand.
So never get complacent. Always be pushing forward.
Right. Exploring new revenue streams, maybe catering, delivery, even franchising if you're really successful.
Thinking big picture.
Absolutely. And staying current, both with trends and technology. This industry moves fast.
Give me some examples. What are we talking about here?
Well, delivery apps are huge in Doha right now. If you're not on them, you're missing out.
Yeah, convenience is king.
It is. Then there's QR code menus, online ordering systems, all these tools that streamline things and make life easier for your customers.
Embrace the tech.
Embrace it.
Yeah.
But don't forget the human touch. Building a loyal customer base is essential.
Turning those first-time visitors into regulars.
Exactly. That comes from consistency, excellent food A&D service every single time.
No room for slip-ups.
Not if you want people to come back. Loyalty programs are great. Personalized touches, remembering names and orders. It all makes a difference.
It's about creating a connection, making people feel valued.
Exactly. Okay, we've gone through a lot of tea. Location, permits, the money side, staffing, menu, inventory, customer experience.
It's a lot to take in, but it paints a pretty clear picture.
It does. Opening a restaurant in Doha is no walk in the park, that's for sure.
But it's doable, right?
Oh, absolutely. It takes planning, dedication, and a whole lot of passion.
Passion being the key ingredient.
Couldn't have said it better myself. But we're not quite done yet. There's one more thing we need to talk about.
What's that? So much to think about. But before we wrap up this whole Doha restaurant deep dive,
Yeah.
there's this one thing that kept coming back to me as we were prepping.
What's that?
The passion. Like the sheer amount of it you need to really make it in this business.
It's true. The article mentions it, but it's something you can't really quantify, can you?
You can't. It's more than just, opening a business. It's this all-consuming thing.
It is. It's like, I read this interview once with a famous chef.
Oh, yeah.
They said opening a restaurant is like having a baby.
Wow.
It's all-encompassing, exhausting, but also the most amazing, rewarding thing.
Yeah, I can see that. And it has to be genuine, right?
It does. You can't fake that passion for food, for hospitality, for creating something special.
It's what fuels you through those long days, the tough times.
The inevitable setbacks, because let's be real, this business is hard.
No sugarcoating it.
Nope. There will be moments where you're like, why am I doing this?
Totally, but
then you see a table full of people enjoying your food, connecting.
Smiling, laughing.
It all clicks back into place. That's why you do it.
That spark, that shared joy, it's magic.
It is. And that passion, that's what sets you apart. It inspires your team, draws in the customers. It's the heart of it all.
So for anyone out there thinking about opening a restaurant in Doha, or anywhere, really,
Yeah.
connect with your WHY. Figure out that deep down reason, that passion that's driving you.
Why this restaurant? Why NW? What's the story you want to tell?
Because that's what'll keep you going when things get tough.
It's the secret ingredient, the one you won't find in any recipe.
Well said. So that's our Doha restaurant deep dive, folks. Hopefully you've learned a thing or two.
And maybe gotten a little hungry along the way.
Definitely. Opening a restaurant, it's not just about the destination, it's the whole journey.
The ups, the downs, the constant learning.
But with passion, some hard work, and a dash of luck.
You can create something truly special.
Absolutely. So to all those aspiring restaurateurs out there,
Go get them.
we're rooting for you. And to everyone listening, thanks for joining us.
Until next time, happy eating.